Hey guys, Czar back with you. It's 3:31 p.m. We're into the last half hour of the session here, very much in power hour, of course. I hope you'll excuse my voice. Struggling a little bit here with my throat. Not sure why. Could be allergies. Who knows? Could just be dry air. Talking too much. It's probably not the case. Looking at a last minute or last 30-minute reversal here. I don't need much. I don't need much of a reversal. Just enough to get about 30 points here. Buy stop order, guys. This will be my third trade of the day. 2 shorts, and this will be a long after this big sell-off that we've had today. We're not down huge on the futures contracts, down 0.7 on the NASDAQ for the and here I am, guys. I am in. Bear with me for one moment. Just struggling with my own platform here. All right. So late entry for me, but that's okay. I'm going to show you where the model entered, which is right here. And I'll just take a little bit of a hit on that. Still not overly concerned. All right. So looking for about 30 points here, guys. 30.5 points to be precise. For the model. There is a break above prior candle high at a zone, by the way, and that's the important piece of it. Let me set this marker up. There it is, over on the 30-minute chart. I had to copy and paste. Do things a little differently here today. But what do we have? A bearish engulfing candle, guys. There's a big rejection here on the daily. I'm looking up here in the top left, by the way, in case you can't see where my cursor is. I know there's lines everywhere, and it's a bit can be a little frustrating and a little bit annoying. I do know that. But we are back now down into last week's range. There's the high of last week's range. There's the low of last week's range, which was set on the Tuesday. The Monday was an inside day, if you remember. And we are now back down inside. The other sisters as well have been selling off big time here today. Let me just show you the dailies. There's the daily S&P, big engulfing candle. Not just engulfing yesterday, but engulfing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. The Dow is a cascading down candle, not engulfing because it didn't engulf the high, didn't surpass the high of yesterday, right? Whereas the S&P did and the NASDAQ did. And so that's what we're looking at here. Looking for a push up here, guys, at the end of the day. The dip buyers to come in. I'm not asking for this whole thing to be reversed or even this big clean traffic candle. Some would call this a fair value gap by some terminologies, which I won't comment on or debate. But we just need a little bit of an up move here, that's all. If you can look over here, you can see that I'm only looking for this wick to be filled and nearly filled, even not even the whole thing. It's my first long of the day. I've had 2 shorts and now this long. I'm going to be managing this actively. I may even move to stop the break even very quickly here. A very uncertain time of day, as you can imagine. All right, guys, stop the break even. Right there, stop the break even. I'll move the marker back. We'll watch this play out together. Now, I want to make it clear, guys, that the break above prior 30-minute candle was one of my entry criteria, but I do not have a break of candle model. Sometimes somebody will say, well, why didn't you take this break here or this break here? And it's because candle breaks are not my thing. It's not even on any of my trading checklists. It is one of the units of conviction that I will sometimes employ, especially on reversal trades like this one is, after prices have been significantly moving in one direction. And that's because up until now, for instance, there have been no breaks of candle highs, right? Since the move started. The move started in earnest right here. There was no break of prior high, no break, no break, no break, no break, and all of a sudden a break. And that's just a indicator or an indicator of a change of something, right? Some kind of a change of character, and that's one piece. But the fact that we are extended by any measure is a very big piece of this. The fact that we are tapping a zone is a very big piece. The fact that we have two equal body lows here, right? For us to map a new zone or to shift a zone. And then the break of the prior candle high. The fact that it's the last 30 minutes of the day where sometimes desperate buying will come into the picture, for instance, especially after a move, right? Buying the dips. We are in a bull market, right? This is a bull market, despite the bearish behavior that we've had today. Now remember, it was also today, this morning, when we hit all-time highs on the NASDAQ. So there's a kind of a dichotomy happening here today, a little bit of a paradox in behavior and mindset, all on the same day. It can be a little confusing, right? But that's what makes this dance all the more interesting and delicate and fragile. I think the biggest struggle today for most traders would be to sit and do nothing while these prices were driving down. I'm not saying you couldn't have had a short trade in here. Absolutely, I had two shorts here today, but way up here were my shorts, right? In fact, this is a 15-second chart, right? My first short was up here. The second short was in here, I believe, or here. In here, yes. It's actually all of this. This is the 15-second chart. I'm gonna move it over to the 1 minute so you can see this more clearly. And so now you can see why I would potentially opt for a long trade, right? Significant move down, tapping two zones, breaking the prior candle high, end of the day, very important, fresh volume coming in. We're in a bull market, a lot of dip buying going on. This market's being run by the dip mindset of late, and so it just makes perfect sense. There's a sound intellectual and sentimental framework to this. Again, my stop is at break even. This is a no-lose trade at this point. And there it is, guys. Finally, patience paid off. Just had to wait for a little bit of a pain there during the sell-off from that wick. 3 Razor's Edge trades today, all 3 winners. And the reason that is the case is because I've been incredibly choosy, trading optimal setups only. I'm folding on most hands like a poker player does. In other words, a lot of opportunities that look reasonable or fair or mediocre, I simply say no to. Right? If all the pieces are not lined up, I simply don't take them. So my win rate on the Razor's Edge model in particular, and I'll make that very clear, is quite high. It's very high. But that's because I've reduced my loss rate, right? By being particularly picky and choosy in only trading optimal setups. I take only a few trades, so it's easier to have a high win rate. If I was trading a model that had 5, 6, 7, 10 trades a day, my win rate would be a lot lower. That's just the way it works. Thanks for being with me today, guys. Have an amazing night. We'll talk to you soon.